to get it back to the... What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Are you there? Do you hear me? All that good stuff. Hope you're all well. It's been a while since I've done this. I've been traveling around the place, but I'm back. I'm home. I'm in my old studio, and we are ready to go. So, if you're all there in the comment section, please let me know. Michael, you're 7 minutes late. Please keep your eye on the prize. Up, I am 7 minutes late, and for that, I apologize. But I'm here, okay? So shut up. R.I.P. Joe Rogan. People always say that. They always say R.I.P. Joe Rogan. And one time, I think I said this, I even ended up Googling Joe Rogan because I thought, oh my God, has he been caught in a car crash or something like that? But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about what just happened at the Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul press conference. And, well, you know, it was a typical Nate Diaz press conference, wasn't it? And what I mean by that is, he showed up super late. There was... For a moment there, I wasn't sure if he was even going to show, you know, because his brother has done that in the past. Nick Diaz, I think for one of his George St. Pierre press conferences, didn't show, didn't get on the plane. Then they went to his house to get him. He jumped out the bathroom window and ran away or something like that. So Nate Diaz just copying in his footsteps of his big brother Nick. And yeah, it adds a bit of tension. It adds a bit of drama. And hey, listen, everyone, if you're watching, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already done so, come on. What are you waiting for? The One-Eyed King is back. All right, Mike. Watching from Colne. Well, that's fantastic. Shout out Colne, northwest of England, Lancashire in the house. All right, so where's everyone? Anthony Smith. Well, Anthony Smith is getting ready for his fight this weekend. But we're not here to talk about that. Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. So Nate Diaz shows up late. Typical fashion. You know, as he does. And that's a little bit of mind games, isn't it? That's there to show, listen, we're dancing to my tune. I'm in control. I'm the draw. All those kind of things, you know. But he did show up, fortunately. And from the live stream that I watched, it certainly helped. There was about 10,000 people watching live. So, you know, added to the drama, you know. But, of course, these two going back and forth. I thought it was pretty tame, to be honest. There wasn't too much shit talk. I did see that Jake called out Nate, you know, because Nate said he's the best fighter that's ever competed in the UFC. I mean, I disagree. Let's be honest. I think we all disagree. He was never a champion. I don't even think he fought for a belt. Tough bastard, though. Very, very tough guy. Tough fighter. Great skills. A lot of respect for him. Solid chin. Great cardio. Amazing jiu-jitsu. The man can box. But... I think he did lose 15 fights, let's be honest. You know what I mean? And 15 is no joke, is it? You know? So it's quite a few fights that he lost. But hey, we're not here to shit on him. Fair play to him. I am interested in this fight with Jake Paul. It'll be interesting. Obviously, Jake Paul just got beat off Tommy Fury. And look what he does. Rather than going back and trying to take on Tommy Fury once again... Because I think he even had a rematch clause in the contract. He isn't exercising that. No, what is he doing? He's going for an easy prey. He's going for this guy, Nate Diaz. 21-13. Jake Paul said 15. Nothing wrong with a bit of exaggeration when you're trying to discredit your opponent. He did leave the UFC on a victory over Tony Ferguson. Lost to Leon Edwards. Keeps bringing that up. Lost to Jorge Masvidal. Lost to Conor McGregor. Lost to Rafael Dos Anjos. Josh Thompson. Benson Henderson. Hey, listen. All those names I just mentioned there. They're really, really good fighters. So there's no shame in losing to any of them. Listen, Nate Diaz is still a dangerous man, you know. Certainly if you're a Logan Paul impersonator, a lookalike. So, yeah, listen, it was funny. It was funny. I thought Jake Paul, someone said, is he the best fighter that you've ever fought? And Jake Paul says, well, he's certainly the dumbest person that I've ever fought. So, you know, that was a good one. So Diaz quotes Anthony Evans, my channel manager. Give me a few quotes here. He says... Diaz, these are Diaz's quotes. My plan is to fight the biggest name, showcase my boxing, and go back to the UFC. So that's interesting, isn't it? I mean, that's a big one right there. That's going to make a lot of headlines. He wants to come here. He wants to box Jake Ballbag Paul. There's his new nickname for you. Beat him, hopefully make millions of dollars, and then go back to the UFC and pick up with a mixed martial arts career. So that's interesting. He says he's the best fighter in the UFC. Beg to differ, with respect, and I think we can all agree on that. In fact, but I put a poll up. Is Nate Diaz the best fighter to ever compete inside the UFC? And please, for the love of God, all you people watching, I do not want to see a yes. You want a creepy wink? Who says that? Darcy Giorgio wants a creepy wink. There you go. He says 185 pounds is cool. I've sparred 185. 240 pound guys all my life. Yeah, well, Diaz generally fought at 170 or 155. So 185 is a step up. But listen, that's Jake Paul's MO, isn't it? That's what he likes to do. Beat smaller guys. Beat guys that are past their prime. Beat guys that aren't boxers. Fought one boxer one time and got beat. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I don't respect the guy, because I do. And he's doing big things in boxing. You know, he's entertaining a lot of people. He's giving me hours of content. Do you know what I mean? So I can't hate on that. But as he says, Nate Diaz says, after this fight, I'm going to go back to the UFC and fight for the belt. I don't know if that'll happen. Anyway, Jake Paul's. Here's some notable things that Jake Paul said. He said, let's do 12 rounds, 15 rounds if it's legal. It's not legal. You can't go 15 rounds anymore. That was stopped many, many moons ago in boxing. So that's a nice little quote from Jake Paul. Can't do 15 rounds, brother, and you know that. He says he will be sharp. This is Jake Paul talking about Nate Diaz. He will be sharp for a couple of rounds, but he can't stop me. I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I hit harder, 4 pounds or less. He is bigger, he is stronger. And I will say this, he does hit harder. Jake Paul said at the press conference, he said, everyone that I've fought, they've hit the canvas, win or lose. Of course, the one loss was to Tommy Fury, and he did hit the canvas momentarily. Was it a slip? Was it a knockdown? Who cares? Paul isn't lying there. You know, he did drop Anderson Silva. He flatlined Tyrone Woodley. Flatline Nate Diaz. Ben Askren and Nate. What was he called? The basketballer. I can't even remember his bloody name. Something. Anyway, he says, I will do, this is Jake, I will do what Conor McGregor could not do and knock Nate Diaz out. I have a lot to prove. This is do or die for me. Same for Diaz. He has to win. I have to win. 2 people who can't lose. 2 people who don't back down. Won't back down. Never back down. Shut up, Jake. Listen, he's just trying to sell the fight, and that's what you do. It's a press conference. They're there to sell the fight. Diaz was hilarious, though. I mean, not only did he show up late, he then also, what did he do? Halfway through the press conference, just got up and went for a piss. Oh, dear. It was great. It was. I mean, if that's just not just an ultimate FU to everyone there, to Jake Paul, to the promoters, to the media, and not the fans. There was no fans there, and I think that pissed Nate off, to be honest. We've got a super chat here from Rex Fortune. He says, late round shot KO for Diaz. Paul's defense isn't great, and neither is his gas tank. Those are the 2 things that you can't lack when fighting Diaz. Yeah, his gas tank. I mean, Nate Diaz has got a great gas tank, but Paul, he definitely hits harder, and he's younger as well. I don't think he'll have a problem going the distance. Nate Diaz, the wordsmith, he is. I mean, come on. Shakespeare has got nothing on Nate Diaz when it comes to the English language. I mean, come on. General talking points I've got here in the notes. Paul is much bigger than Nate. Nate never fought above 170. Correct. When he did fight at 170 as well, for the most part, he was undersized. Of course, he had 2 big fights with Conor McGregor at 170, but that's 2 lightweights. Or 1 featherweight, for crying out loud. Nate did outbox and then submit ex-boxer Marcus Davis. Yeah, Marcus Davis, he was an old-school UFC guy, but yeah, I wouldn't say he was a boxer. That was UFC 118. And yeah, there it is. I mean, let me know your thoughts. What did you think? Didn't I show up? T-Ball Paul says, didn't I show up late once and intoxicated? Are you intoxicated? Yeah, I did. We've been over this many times. Many times. I'm not talking shit. I said it was actually quite funny, didn't I? If you pay attention, T-Ball Paul. But I did, yeah. I was in Vegas. And St. Pierre wasn't, he didn't give us a date yet. We didn't even know when we were fighting. Is Nate Diaz the best fighter in UFC history on the poll? Feel free to go up there and, vote. But right now, sure, 38%. 38% of you are out of your goddamn minds, no offence. And then lol, 62%. Who do I have winning? Question in the chat there. Who do I have winning? To be honest, probably Jake Paul. Probably Jake. He's bigger. He's fast. He is powerful. You know what I mean? Who knows? I mean, I hope Nate Diaz does it. I really do. Because it's set up that way, isn't it? It's set up for Nate Diaz to lose. That's the big plan from Jake Paul and his promotion team. They want him to lose. They want Jake Paul to win, to take out Nate Diaz. They all make a ton of money, and then they go and box somebody else. So I hope Nate Diaz crashes the party. I hope he wrecks shop. I hope he goes out there and does it. And you never know, he might do. Diaz is no pussy. Far from it. He's a real fighter. He's a real one for sure. But he's limited in this. Granted, he has got a good boxing. But the size is an issue. He is 38. He said he feels strong. Sure, I get that. 38 isn't an old man. You're not exactly in your prime, but you're not exactly past the prime either. It kind of depends on an individual basis, doesn't it? We've got a member here. Rebecca, what do we say for members? She's in the background. Just wanted to let you know, Mike, the result finally came back. Okay. Dylan Dennis is around in the chat. Dylan Dennis, where is it? It was a super chat somewhere for 9 months. Stop running and give the fans what they want. Let's talk. And put a poll up. I've been supposed to have a little chat with Dylan Dennis on here for quite some time, so I apologise for that, Dylan, because I did say we'd do it. But then life gets ahead of you. I've been all over the place. I'm very busy. I'm working all over the show. I've hardly been home in weeks. So I did say we'd do that, so I apologise, Dylan. I will reach out and we will get that done. But yeah, who wants to hear from Dylan Dennis in the chat? And put a poll up. So anyway, 8 rounds is a joke. Someone says, I don't think it's a joke. I mean, 8 rounds is fine. But with the experience of Nate Diaz, granted he hasn't fought in boxing before, I'd like to see it 12 rounds. 12 rounds you might get a knockout because, of course, they're both getting tired. They both start to make mistakes. They leave openings and all the rest of it. Dylan Dennis spends an hour every morning fighting his bed sheets. You want to see me try and make the bed? And look, I look like I'm fighting with the sheets as well. Captain Rabbit, big up yourself, bro. Nicole Merrill says, glad to see Nate out of jail. Hope he wins, but Jake is 10 times bigger than Nate, so it could go either way. And that's the thing. He's not 10 times bigger, but he's certainly the bigger man, isn't he? Certainly the bigger man. So what do we think? Are we interested? I mean, there was about 10,000 people watching there. So, Hope Nate KOs Jake Paul with a Boston slap. Well, slapping's illegal in boxing. In the UFC, you can get away with it, but I do believe that in boxing, a slap is illegal. So is a hammer fist or a back fist, Just because you got gloves on. Just because it's boxing doesn't mean you can do anything you want with your hands. It's got to be a punch. So, no Stockton slap, sadly, in this one. But when Floyd Mayweather fought Conor McGregor, a lot of people thought, is he just going to kick him in the head? It would be funny if Nate was getting his ass kicked and just said, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to throw a double leg and submit him. Rex Fortune says, I want to see what Jake looks like in the 5th and the 6th round when eating body shots. Most of his opponents headhunted. Nothing saps the will to fight like liver shots. You're right. Body shots are a bitch and they do add up. I mean, if you don't get that one body shot that sits you down, that cripples you, and you just continue to take them, it does slow you down. But we just saw him go 8 rounds against, Tommy Fury. So I don't think cardio is going to be an issue. And if it was an issue in that fight, he's going to come back even better. Said that he's changed his team now and things like that. Hey, listen, you do learn from your losses. So even though I always like to rag on Jake a little bit, fair play to the man. It does take balls to step in there. It does. For that he has my respect. But I always say the same thing. You know what I mean? Fight some real boxers. But to be fair, this is a big fight and a lot of people will be interested in it. So I kind of get it for that reason. When he was fighting Ben Askren, I expected him to beat him. Nate Robinson was the basketball player. He's a basketball player. Fair play. I don't want to say it, but I do have to say it. He did beat Anderson Silva. But Anderson Silva's like 975 years old these days. And he's far from the man he once was. But he still beat him, and I didn't expect him to. So, you got to give him his credit there. So Kin Hernandez says, Mike, who should Nate fight first when he heads back to the UFC? If and when he comes back to the UFC, they've got to do the McGregor match. That's the one that's got to happen. That is the one that's going to happen. Dylan Dennis, I've got bad news for you, Dylan. We did a poll. Who wants to hear from Dylan Dennis? 24% me. 76% say not I. I can't go against the masses, Dylan. I can't force feed them a product they're not interested in. But we will do it. We will do it. I'm a man of my word. I said I would do it, so we'll do it. You know what I mean? So anyway, we had some big fights at the weekend, UFC 288. We'll get into that stuff with Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo in a little bit. We'll just exhaust the, we'll exhaust the Jake Paul chit-chat first. Let's see what's going on the Tinterweb. Let's see what they're saying about this. There's Jake Paul. Look at that. Look at that version of Jake Paul. Top left. That one there. Look at that. Look at that. What a balloon. He needs to get that taken down, doesn't he? I mean, come on. All right, the next two, these two here, they're a bit better. He looks a bit mean there, doesn't he? He's got his tats and he's filled out. According to Nate Diaz, he's juicing. But those ones there, they're not good. They're not good. That's hilarious. I mean, he looks like a Disney child, doesn't he? But fair play, not hating on him. Jake Paul insists Tommy Fury rematch is going to happen, claiming the Brit is down to fight again. Yeah, but it's Jake Paul. It is Jake Paul. Jake Paul takes a swipe at Floyd Mayweather with his thinly veiled dig over his boxing record. Jake is in no position to be sitting there criticising Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather fought some tremendous people. I mean, yeah, last fight was against Conor McGregor, but Canelo Alvarez, granted in his youth, Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, Ricky Hatton, they're just a few off the top of my head. I'm not exactly a boxing expert though, so they're the big names I could think of off the top of my head. And if you had a gun to my head, I probably couldn't think of any more. I could, probably. No man alive will beat my son. No way. Who said that? Vercingetorix Avernian. No man alive will beat Jake Paul and Nate Diaz in a boxing match or an MMA fight. Colin Moore, all right, enough of that. I just saw someone say it, so I thought I'd do it for you. Whatever. Mike, could I beat Jake in a rap battle? I don't go in for that tittle-tattle, and I'm like a snake. Hear me when I rattle. I beat Jake Paul. He will be the fall. Shut up, Bisping. That's it. I'm signing off now. That's it. I'm done. Badou Jack going to lose his title to Ryan Rozicki by the end of the year or the beginning of. All right. Well, let's go, Badou Jack. Jake got bummed by Disney execs. I shouldn't have read that comment. Jeez Louise. Hey, Mike, I'm wanting to start jiu-jitsu. Would you suggest a pure jiu-jitsu gym like Gracie or 10th Planet? Or maybe going to the Den Training Center because that's near my house? Let me tell you right now, the Den Training Center is phenomenal in Yorba Linda. Go there. Honestly, Ben Jones is a phenomenal coach. He's a disciple or a student, a long-time student. He is the result of training with Eric Paulson, who's just a phenomenal coach and a legend in martial arts in America. He trained with him for many, many years. He's a phenomenal coach. Catch wrestling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, there's kickboxing. So get yourself to the Den. They've got a great community there, a great vibe. And Ben Jones is just an awesome coach. And by the way, you'll be seeing me in there as well. I'm going to do the kickboxing class here and there as well, just to pass down that knowledge. Just to, show the new generation the tricks of the trade. Can't show them any tricks. Bless you. Bless. Yes. Snake Paul on roids or not. Put a poll up. It's a good idea. And put a poll up. Just spilt water all over myself. That was clever. And put a poll up. Do we think Jake Paul is on steroids? I don't think so. Everyone talks about being on steroids, and maybe I'm naive. I was naive when I was fighting. I didn't think people were on steroids then. And I think right now, with the state of the situation, with all the testing that's in place, and the more educated that people are, I think you'd have to be pretty brave to be going out there and taking performance-enhancing drugs. Certainly if you're in the UFC with USADA. USADA don't play around. They'll catch you, But I had this conversation with Anthony Smith on my podcast. And shout out Anthony because he fights this weekend against Johnny Walker. Big fight this weekend. So tune in. I'll be doing a live stream on the Believe You Me podcast. I'll be doing a live watch along with Harrington and Brian. So Saturday, tune in for that one when the fight's on. Sailboy says everybody's on steroids. Jake Paul, Royder, oh for sure. Not sure, nope. The poll is up. Let me know. Oh for sure, 100%. I mean, we've had 5 votes so far. 52 votes. The tide is changing. 68-22. Only no say 12%. I mean, he would. Could you imagine the ridicule if he was on steroids? Do you know what I mean? The ridicule would just be ridiculous. Do you know? He would never live it down. So that's why I like to try and see the better in people. That's why I didn't think my opponents were taking them. I knew Vitor Belfort was, but like an arrogant prick, I still thought I could beat him. That cost me, of course. But I just think I do like to try and see the best in people. And, you know, you can't just automatically assume because somebody's having success by beating subpar over-the-hill non-boxing fighters in boxing that they're on steroids. Do you know what I mean? He's a young man. He works out. He goes to the gym. He lifts weights. He eats a good diet, no doubt. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think he is. But according to the poll, for sure, 61%. And I apologise to you all. I apologise. We're going to do a few more of the chats and then we'll have a look and we'll talk about some UFC 288 stuff. What did Jake say to Nate in the stare down? I don't know, mate. I weren't there. He said it to Nate. I couldn't pick it up on my iPhone. I love you, Mike. I haven't seen you much lately. Where you been? Thank you very much, Isaac, I guess. I was filming a movie out in Tenerife, so near Spain. So I was filming a movie out there, so I was away for a few weeks. So I do apologise. You know, the content definitely dropped and dipped for sure. But, you know, got to do what you got to do, guys. Trying to put bread on the table, trying to make some money, you know. Mikey B missed my super chat. Ron Mancini, where was it, bro? I'll get it done. I don't mind. Super chats get done on this channel. Paul should fight Francis next. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Here we go, Ron Mancini. Of course your buddy Jake doesn't fight another boxer and goes to retired pushing 40 MMA fighters. You're right, Ron. Well, that's his MO. That's what he does. And that's always been my criticism. You know, it was funny because at the press conference there before he was talking about being in the Boxing Hall of Fame and then somebody called him out on it and he's like, what do you mean? He said, look at the events that I'm putting on. Look at the people that I'm bringing along. Look at the opportunities that I'm giving to some younger fighters. And he's got a point there. And for that, I do respect him and I give him credit, you know. But that doesn't mean you're in the Boxing Hall of Fame. That means you're helping some people out. You know, if you just help someone out, does that put you in the Boxing Hall of Fame? No, you get in the Boxing Hall of Fame or the UFC Hall of Fame or any Hall of Fame based upon merit and how good you were and what you brought to the table and championships won, fights won, you know, epic fights, things like that. You don't get it because you helped a few people out and maybe you paid them decently. That doesn't get you in there. That gets you a pat on the back. That gets you a nice one, bro. Good lad. Good looking out. Well done for bringing people with you. Doesn't get you in the Hall of Fame. 59% of people think for sure Jake Paul's on steroids. We'll end that poll right there. Okay, let's go down the bottom of the chart. What do we have? Why don't we get any UFC events in New Orleans? That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know, mate. Has there never been one in New Orleans? 10th Planet Striking? No way he said that. I didn't say that. He's got to go to the Den Training Center. New Orleans, has there never been one there? I don't know. That seems strange. Obviously, Daniel Cormier, Dustin Poirier, they're from Lafayette, Louisiana, not far from New Orleans. So they would be perfect to have on that fight card. I'm sure a lot of people would be interested, but I have no idea. I don't get involved in that stuff. Obviously, it's none of my business, is it? But it is surprising. William Hudson says, off topic, but I wish O'Malley and Merab became friends. Could you imagine Sugar and the Machine as a podcast? The Sugar Machine. The Sugar Machine. Hey, Merab Dvalishvili. Let's just talk about this. Merab was goddamn awesome. How funny was that? How funny was that when he put the jacket on? How the hell do you spell Dvalishvili? Oh, there it is. The Merab Dvalishvili. Oh, it's there. Merab Dvalishvili jacket. Images. Let's go images. This was, oh no, oh there it is. I mean, he stole the show with that, didn't he? It was brilliant. I mean, there's Sugar Sean O'Malley looking like Michael Jackson from Thriller. He can pull it off. He's young. He's got the swagger. He's got the look to do it. I'd look like a total dickhead. Could you imagine me walking around in that jacket? Oh my God. I would never hear the end of it. But O'Malley pulls it off. He's got some wacky style. And then there's Merab. Grabs it, sticks it on, nearly gets into a fight with O'Malley. I thought that was hilarious. It really was. Merab stole the show and he didn't even throw a punch. Brilliant. Sugar said he might send it to him. Oh, he should. He should. Wouldn't that be great? If when Sugar fights Aljamain Sterling and Merab's in the corner with a jacket on. Oh, God, that'd be great. I'd suit that with a based MMA. Well, thank you very much. Tank KO all. Yes, Michael. All right, so listen, let's talk about Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo at the weekend. What did we think? Who do you think won? And put a poll up on that, please. Put a poll up on that. Harry Holden Rushworth says, I met you last year for the love of MMA. It was the best day ever. You're an inspiration and an absolute legend. Well, thank you, brother. Big Mike says, am I calling the fights this weekend? I'm not. I wish I was. Anthony Smith is fighting this weekend, as I said. Let's have a look at that fight card. So it's, oh, God. Almeida versus Rosenstruik. Yeah, Rosenstruik. Boom. We'll give it a little Wikipedia action. That's my go-to. Yeah, I wish it was commentating this weekend because it is a really good fight card. It's going to be on ABC. I think it's going to be on nice and early as well. So I'll be able to watch that and still go about my day. But let's have a look at this fight card. Anthony Smith is on there. So Jorginho, I'll give you some predictions right now. Jorginho Rosenstruik versus Jailton Almeida. Jailton Almeida is a tremendous grappler. He really is. He's absolutely phenomenal. Rosenstruik, the man can bang. He's got big power. I've got ADD because I said, let's just talk about Cejudo and Sterling. And now we've got a poll up on that. And I'm now talking about the fight card this weekend. But keep up if you can, boys and girls. Keep up if you can. My mind goes at 1,000,000 miles an hour, doesn't it, babe?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, she's in the background. Yeah, I think Almeida beats Rosenstruik. I think he's going to take him down with relative ease. You never know. He could get caught. Rosenstruik's just going to punch his chance. I like Jorginho. He's a cool guy. He's capable of some tremendous violence. But Jailton Almeida, something special. Right, Anthony Smith, Johnny Walker. Well, never in a million years would I dream of going against my brother, Anthony Smith. But I do believe that he is the better martial artist when it comes to Johnny Walker. He's got better jiu-jitsu. He's got better strategy. He's in control of his body. He's more in control of his emotions. He knows what he's doing. He's got a tremendous amount of experience. Anthony Smith has almost, I think he's got over 50 professional fights. Let's have a look at that. 36 and 17. 53. This will be his 54th fight. I mean, that alone, that's bloody impressive, isn't it? That is impressive. Last time out against Magomed Ankalaev, he broke his leg in the first round. You know, got stopped in the second because he was fighting with one leg. Prior to that, 3 stoppages in a row. Ryan Spann, Jimmy Crute, Devin Clark. Lost to Rakic and Glover. I lost to John Jones. I lost to Thiago Santos, title challenger. So if you look at that, the only people that are beating Anthony Smith are the absolute creme de la creme. Is that what Johnny Walker is? I don't know if he is. I don't know if that's a sentence you would say about Johnny Walker. And I say that with respect because I like Johnny. I do like Johnny a lot. He's not someone to make fun of. He's not an idiot. He's not a fool. He's a dangerous man. 20 and 7. Paul Craig, Iwan Kutalaba. 2 good wins there. Jamal Hill, Thiago Santos, Krylov, Corey Anderson. So no shame in losing those 4. But I do believe Anthony Smith will get the job done. I think he's going to catch him with something. I think he's going to catch him with a punch or a shot. He's going to go down, and in the scramble, he's going to get caught in a submission. And if that sounds like in-depth analysis, that is me stealing precisely what Anthony Smith said is going to happen. All right, so anyway, let's go back to the chit-chat. Hold on, let's just have a look at the rest of the fight card, though, real quick. Damian Rodriguez, Ian the future Gary versus Daniel Rodriguez, pardon me. This is the first proper test for Ian Gary. Ian Gary, he's had a great run. I think he's undefeated still. I think he's undefeated. Let's have a double check. 11-0, yeah. Son Kenan got the job done last time out in March, should I say. Beat Gabe Green, Darian Weeks, Jordan Williams. You know, they're all decent wins. Gabe Green is a tough fighter. Son Kenan caught him in round 1 and almost finished him. This is a step up against Daniel Rodriguez. Rodriguez is a tough son of a bitch. You know, so a big, a lot of pressure, not a lot of pressure, a lot of questions will be answered this weekend about the future of Ian, the future Gary. You know what I mean? If he can beat Daniel Rodriguez, you know, it steps up his potential. You know what I mean? Obviously, he believes he can be a champion. Of course he does. When you're undefeated, that's of course what you're going to think. And that's what you should think. You shouldn't think, well, I'm okay. I reckon I'm an okay fighter. I might have an okay career. No, you think you're the shit. You think you're going to win. You think you're going to be a champ. And he's undefeated. But the jury's still out on that yet for everybody else. You know, but if you can beat Daniel Rodriguez, then that's backing up all of that talk. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a really good fight. Alex Morono and Tim Means, that's a good one. Always love watching those guys fight. Matt Brown before that. Gotta love Matt Brown. Gotta love Matt Brown. Anyway, let's go back to the chat. Let's go back to the chat. Let's have a look on this. So who do you think won? 62% of you said Aljamain Sterling won at the weekend. And 62% of you know what you're talking about. 37% of you don't know your fucking ass from your elbow, do you? What are you talking about? Cejudo was great. I'm not here to knock Henry Cejudo. I thought Cejudo did marvellous. Certainly considering that he had 3 years away. To come back against Aljamain Sterling, a high-pressure situation, 5 rounds against a dominant champion, a guy that's in the groove, a guy that's getting better every time we see him, and a guy that was way bigger, stronger, longer, 7-inch reach advantage. And he pushed it, and he got a split decision. Loss. I thought Sterling deserved to win that. So, and well done to Aljamain. Listen, Aljamain gets a lot of crap, doesn't he, off the MMA community. And even Saturday night in New Jersey, people were booing him. And I felt for him a little bit as well. I did. I mean, listen, he doesn't say sometimes the best things on the microphone, but I never always said the best things. So there's no judgment there. You're in the heat of the moment. You hear the boos. You get upset. You get emotional. It's hard to hear. So, you know, he might have said 1 or 2 things. But he's doing a great thing. He's a bantamweight champion of the world. He said he's going to defend it. Excuse me, sorry. Got a blocked nose. Said he's going to defend it 1 more time and move up to 145. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that. We'll talk about all the other fights as well in a minute. I'll just do some of these chats. Mike, if you were to launch your own beer or liquor, what spirit would it be? And what would you call it? Bisping's beer. It'd be a beer. Bisping's. We don't need a beer on it. Just Bisping's. Boom. There you go. Yoel Romero versus Vadim Nenkov in the main event of Bellator 297, June 16th, light heavyweight title. Yoel versus Bisping still needs to happen, champ. I'm very happily retired. But Nemkov, he's the real deal. That's a tough fight for Yoel Romero. And certainly considering the age of Yoel Romero, he's no spring chicken. And I'm sure that he's lied anyway. I'm sure that he's way older than what he says he is. So, yeah. Aljo spent half the fight on his knees, based MMA. He did. And Ray Longo even said, yo, Aljo, you know, let's have less of this on the all fours, you know, because, you know, we got to keep this fight on the feet. There's my terrible Ray Longo accent. And the reason he was on his knees, though, is because he was pushing the pace. He was trying to get takedowns. He was taking the fight to Henry Cejudo. And, yeah, Cejudo sprawled. And that forced Aljamain to his knees. But he was still being the aggressor. And then he outstruck him, clearly by the numbers. The numbers don't lie. He outstruck him big time. Not big time, but by a decent percentage. And yeah, Cejudo defended a lot of the takedowns. But you don't win a fight by defending takedowns. You do it by damage. And I think the majority of the damage was on the side of Aljamain Sterling. Jake should fight Darren Till. That would be interesting. Or Mike Perry. I like that one. Anakin Skywalker. I like that one a lot. We've got to see Darren back in there with somebody. Obviously, he's parted ways with the UFC right now. And he wants to box some people. Mike Perry and Bare Knuckle. That'd be interesting. Remember, they've got that back and forth. You know, they were supposed to fight, or, you know, they came close to fighting in the UFC. So I'd like to see that. Versus Jake Paul, I'd like to see it because that'd be a nice payday for Darren. And I want him to get big paydays. Bisping's Better Beer, the Triple B. I like that one. Bisping's Better Beer. That's got a good ring to it. Bisping's Better Beer. Cyclops Hard Cider. Jeez Louise, Fiji kid. I'm offended. Mike, my teeth look incredible. Yeah, they do, don't they? What do? I brush them. Believe it or not. Don't I, babe? Sometimes, she says. Twice a day. Sometimes 3. And they're also fake. Yeah. My teeth are faker than Jake Paul's boxing career. Okay? My teeth are faker than Jake Paul's boxing career. And someone says, Michael, thank you for your great career in the UFC. You do have a great smile. Is it your own teeth or veneers? Yeah, no, it is. The fake, the veneers. Is that what you call them, Beck? Veneers? Yeah, the veneers, yeah. Some dentist hit me up on Instagram and said, Mike, your teeth are a mess. I was like, oh, thanks a lot, buddy. He said, I can fix them for you. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, I'm a dentist. I said, where's your office? He said, Beverly Hills. I'm like, you have my attention. And he was round the corner from the Fox Studios when I was working there. So I went and saw him and like, what a beautiful practice the man had. Shout out Dr. Connolly in Beverly Hills. Did a fantastic job, as you can see. And he said, yeah, what we'll do is we'll just put veneers on, all of them. He said, his words, not mine. He said, this is $50,000 worth of work that I'm going to do on you. He said, you give me a bit of social media, I'll do it for free. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. Never asked about the process. I just went in one day. This was before my fight against George St. Pierre as well, which was rather stupid. Biggest fight in my life, and I'm getting my teeth literally drilled down. I had no idea. They drill your teeth away for about 3 hours. He had goggles on, drilling away. Bits of my teeth just flying everywhere. And then he walks out. You know, he went to have a pee or have a cigarette or something because he did a lot of work. And he walks out and I get my phone out and I look and I'm like, oh my God. My teeth completely drilled down, just tiny little toothpicks. Of course, then they put the veneers on and you look better, but still, I did shit my pants. Road to Vegas says, how many days a week do I do cardio? Well, every time I work out, there's cardio involved, you know? And I try and work out 5 days a week. Some weeks that doesn't happen. Generally, I try to. Shiny says, I just click on the stream and Mike is smiling at the camera saying, my teeth look incredible. Somebody said that. Bisping's hot water. 50K, did it cure cancer? No, it didn't, but he was in Beverly Hills, so they rip people off, don't they? Mike, what do I use for my hair gel? I use a bit of Bumble and Bumble. You know? Jeez Louise. Speaking of the dentist, did Rockhold fix his teeth? Ah, poor old Rockhold. His teeth got mangled, didn't they? Let's have a look. Rockhold teeth. Should bring it up. Images. Yeah, it's not the best graphic, is it? Yeah, hold on. Gee, I hate this on the OBS. Jesus Christ, what's going on? It's all gone tits up. There we go. And we're back. We're back in the game. There we go. Yeah, that's nasty. That's nasty. I mean, the fight was called off. I thought that Luke Rockhold did pretty well, to be honest. I mean, obviously he lost the fight. But he dropped him in the first round. And he was looking good. But it's bare knuckle. And, you know, the no glove will cut quicker. And you can see there, the lip went right into the tooth. He knocked a couple of teeth out. I felt sorry for him, actually. You know what I mean? Poor guy. It's been quite the fall from grace from him being the middleweight champion of the world and things like that. So, yeah, he's not a bad guy. Luke's all right, you know. Well, I gave him a bad rap. I talked a bit of crap. But that's what you do. But he's all right. He's all right, man. Anyway, Gilbert Burns versus Bilal Muhammad. That was hard to watch for me personally because, you know, I really, really like Gilbert Burns. And I like Bilal Muhammad. I like Bilal Muhammad a lot. Bilal's awesome. He's a great guy. Got nothing against him at all. But it's just something about Gilbert Burns' personality, isn't it? He's just like such a cute little teddy bear. And I know that sounds weird. But he just is, isn't he? Bilal Muhammad replaces Khamzat Chimaev. Henry Cejudo shakes up the bantamweight in latest rankings update. Bilal Muhammad threatens... What is this? Bilal Muhammad threatens Colby Covington after latest racist jibe. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what it's saying. Muhammad was happy to reignite his feud with Covington. Bilal Muhammad, remember the name, is coming off perhaps the biggest victory of his career. Blah, 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 blah. Where is the quote? Morning Report, Colby Covington says, racist Bilal Muhammad will have to fight again before his title shot. Lawyers can't help you with what I will do to you in a cage. All right. Well, this is a non-story, isn't it? My God, I just got clickbaited there big time. I apologise for that one, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, well, listen, Bilal does get to fight for the belt next, but he gets to do it after Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards. So Bilal will get to fight whoever the winner of that is, you know, and Rebecca, you're being requested, but you can't come. She's got to go. She'll come and say hello in a minute. Remember the racist. No, what was I saying? Yeah, no, so Colby says he's going to have to fight again. Not necessarily. If I'm Bilal Muhammad, I'd probably wait it out. He's 10 fights unbeaten, 1 no contest against Leon Edwards. If he fights again, he might lose. And if he fights again, it's going to be a top contender. It ain't going to be a walk in the park. It ain't going to be a gimme. It ain't going to be just a fight he's going to get given so that he can win and extend to 11. If he fights again, it's going to be a real fight. And whatever he might get paid, that will not be worth risking fighting for the belt. So I think the smart move would be to sit on the sidelines and wait for Colby versus Leon to take place. But and put a poll up on that. Leon versus Colby. Early predictions. We don't even know when the fight's going to happen. I know Leon's calling it to happen in Abu Dhabi. Colby's asking for it to happen in the States. Who knows where it's going to happen? Mrs. Bisping, what's the most confident being heading into a fight? Sorry, Richie, that doesn't make sense. What the most confident being heading into a fight? Yeah, still doesn't make sense. I think Muhammad beats Leon, but not Colby. I don't know about that, mate. Listen, no offense to Bilal, but we saw a preview of Bilal versus Leon, didn't we? And it wasn't going very well for Bilal. You know, he was getting pieced up. He got caught with a massive head kick. Granted, it was an eye poke that stopped it. And again, granted, that was only round 2. You know, so it could have gone on for a lot longer. And who knows, maybe Bilal would have got into the fight. Maybe he would have taken him down. Maybe things would have changed. But from what we did see, the history that we've seen between those two is that Leon was comfortably winning that fight. So if he does get to fight Leon Edwards, I mean, who knows? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But just from what we did see, you know, Leon was quite comfortable. All right, we've got the poll up. What do you think? Leon or Covington? 56 so far for Leon, 55, 61. I mean, the thing is, if you look at Leon versus Kamaru Usman, you can make the argument that Usman's a better version of Colby because Kamaru beat him twice. And that sounds logical. But I think there is differences in the way that they fight. I think the pace, for one thing, of a Colby Covington would be a little bit different. I think Kamaru had slowed down a little bit in both of those fights. He doesn't push the pace. He's not as fast. He certainly packs more power in his hands. And he might be actually physically stronger than Colby. But Colby's just like an energizer bunny. I can't even get my words out. He just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and never stops. So that'll be, you know, I won't say it will be a problem, but that will be an issue to overcome for Leon. He'll have to make sure he's in the best shape possible. Everyone's overlooking Bilal's explosivity. I'm not overlooking it at all. Explosivity. Real word, by the way. When I worked on UFC Tonight, I said explosivity. Karen Bryant had the nerve on live TV to call me out and say, Michael, you can't just make up words. I loved Googling that and sticking that and saying, look, yeah, explosivity. It's a real one. Anyway, Yoel Romero has a good chemistry. I like Yoel Romero. I've got nothing against him. I talked a lot of shit at the time because that's what you do. Colby's last real finish was 2016. Well, what was his last fake finish? You're saying that's his real finish. When was his fake finish? Bilal couldn't finish a guy with one arm. Yeah. But a lot of critics are saying that. A lot of people are saying that Bilal couldn't finish a one-armed Gilbert Burns. Well, Gilbert Burns with one arm is still a dangerous man, let's be honest. But also, you got to think about the pressure that Bilal was feeling. Bilal Muhammad had a lot on the line there. A title fight, something that he's wanted for years. He's unbeaten in the last 4 years. He's beat some great people. Vicente Luque, Damian Maia, Wonderboy Thompson, now Gilbert Burns. You know, so it was tough for him. Long live Nate Diaz. People love Nate Diaz, don't they? They love him. And fair play. He does fight his ass off. Bisping, what's my top prospect coming up? Lucas Bisping. That's my top prospect. That's my top. He started training at the Den Training Centre in Yorba Linda and he loves it. He absolutely loves it. And this is not me bragging as a proud father. In fact, it is. That's exactly what it is. Hold on, let me look at the poll here. 60% say Leon beats Covington. So I went to the Den last night to pick up Lucas from training. And the coach, Ben Jones, he said, you know, Lucas almost knocked someone out last week? I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, and he swings. And I've told him, like, even when we're messing around at home, he swings full power. And I've said, dude, because he does the adult classes. I'm like, son, you can't swing with everything you've got. Because if you connect with them, then obviously they can hit you back. You know, and you're 12. But anyway, the coach said, yeah, last week he caught someone. And the guy was like kind of starry-eyed and had to sit out for a little bit. And then right as I was saying that, he swings on someone else that was about 24 years old. Caught him again, and then that guy had to sit out. And I'm like, Lucas, you little bastard. You're 12 years old. But he's a natural and he loves to spar, which is great because that's exactly what it was for me. When I started martial arts when I was a kid doing Japanese jiu-jitsu, we used to put the boxing gloves on at the end. And that's what kept me coming back week after week. Anyway, iClub says, someone called you a casual. Should you fight him? Do whatever you want to do, mate. Did it really bother you? Did it offend you? And if it did offend you, then why? I mean, people call me a Cyclops all the time, and I get that. I've got one eye. But who gives a shit? It's water off a duck's back at this point. My living legend. Peace and love from Long Island. What do you think about Matt Favola? Another Cerro Longo guy making noise at lightweight. Huge win over the durable Drew Dober. Yeah, massive win at the weekend. In fact, I spoke to Matt Favola, and I do believe that interview is on the channel now. So when I'm done on my live here, go and check it out. In fact, I'll put a link up. But Lucas has so much explosivity. It's so much explosivity. It's crazy. But what was it? Yeah. So Matt Favola, Jesus Christ, what a knockout that was. Drew Dober is not an easy man to finish. And he caught him with such a wonderful jab, right hook. Man, there was a lot of power in that shot. Great fight. We all know that was going to happen well. Anyway, just got the Kill Bill Recula sword. Oh, Jamesy Adams, I'm jealous. What movie prop would I like to have? Well, I've been asking Rebecca. She always says to me, what do I want for Christmas? Or my birthday or whatever. And I've told her many times. An antique samurai sword. I started off doing Japanese jiu-jitsu. We did a little sword stuff. I'm not exactly a dab hand with a sword, but I can use the sword a little bit. I would love an antique samurai sword. And she said, Michael, they're very, very expensive, which I get. But a Kill Bill replica sword would be good. And Lucas wants a katana. It's his birthday coming up next week. We don't know what to get him. Hey, Beck, let's get him a samurai sword. Yes. She says no. Hey, come and pop in for a second. Everyone wants you to say hi. Come and show your face real quick. Do I think Jake Paul survives in the PFL? Well, Anakin, I think Jake Paul, when he fights in the PFL, they're going to give him nothing but easy matchups. Simple as that. They're going to give him someone that can't wrestle. So when he does boxing, he doesn't fight boxers. And when he fights MMA, he won't fight mixed martial artists. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello.
Let's have a look. Bisping, who was my most hated opponent during my career? We don't know about that. What did I think about Miguel Lopez? I thought he was great. But my wife's here. Anyone got a quick question for my wife? Because she's going to go and pick up.
I'm not buying Lucas nunchucks, thanks anyway.
Oh,
Chris.
nunchucks as well.
No.
We're going full on Japanese weapons.
He's the clumsiest kid ever.
He's not as clumsy as me. I can use nunchucks.
Yes, he is.
Well, thank you. I'm not the
No, he's very clumsy.
I'm very clumsy, but I can use nunchucks and I can use a sword.
Darling, no.
And we should do that. They are great. They're good presents. We're doing it. Bisping, which kid do you think is most like you? I mean, they're all like me. I can't say that. I mean, Lucas is like me. Callum's like me.
What about Ellie? Thank God she's not like you.
Ellie's not like me. No, thank God. I don't want my daughter to be like me. I want her to be like you.
Well,
Total bitch.
she is.
Right. How do you put up with me, babe? Someone says.
Good question. How long we
Oh,
got?
God's sake.
Medication.
Div B says, we love you, Bags. Oh.
Thank you. A Viking axe.
A Viking axe? Oh, I'll take a Viking axe. I'd like a Viking axe.
No
medieval weapons. A Viking axe.
Oh, Lucas says that when he's rich, apparently he's going to be super rich before he's 30 or even 20.
Yeah, he says he's going to be a millionaire before he's 30.
He's going to have a room dedicated to antique weapons.
See, he's a cool kid. See, that's what I want. Now, I'm 44. I want a room dedicated to antique weapons. I mean, wouldn't that look cool on this wall? If you had a samurai sword, a Viking axe, nunchucks, throwing stars,
Maybe
a spear, like a medieval spear.
Not in this house. Maybe
We have a
different
sword
house.
from the Spanish Armada.
I don't know if it is.
It is. We bought it. That's what the guy in the antique shop said. Told us.
I don't. Anyway, whatever.
Babe, what video game can you beat me at?
Oh, Marco Hernandez. I don't do video games. Video game? No,
Yeah, you don't do.
I don't do videos. I used to play Crash Bandicoot.
No, I knew you were going to
No,
say.
but that's like literally the only game that I've. I used to play Tetris on the
Yeah,
Nintendo. No, the what's it called?
NES.
No, Game Boy.
Game Boy.
Oh my god, I was so
My
good.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, an antique crossbow as well. We're doing that. I'm having a
God.
weapons war. That is sick.
Ninja stars. Oh my
No, not
goodness.
ninja stars are pathetic. We're gonna get spears. We're gonna get swords. We're gonna get crossbows. We're gonna get axes.
Okay, his
we're gonna get a
birthday is
sword.
in a few days. I don't
Yeah, I'm
know
not
how
talking
we're
about
gonna-
Lucas. I'm talking about me. Fuck Lucas. Part of my language, everyone. A British officer's sword. Correct. You versus Whitaker on his pod, Street Fighter. Well, we talked about this, Marco. We talked about this when we did a Wayne show in Australia. I will whoop.
You say this. I don't think so.
See the face she has in me? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but you don't play anymore.
Yeah, I know I don't.
You don't. He hasn't played this game. What is it? We're talking about Street Fighter.
Yes.
Like you haven't played it in how long? 20
Years.
But he still thinks he could beat anyone.
The muscle memory is there, okay? Forward and then dip and the thing.
Yeah, but
Hadouken.
There'll be new
No.
moves.
Shoryuken. That's the dragon punch. Dum like that.
Okay.
And just down and then forward your Hadouken. And the other way and the kick. Spinning bird kick. I got the moves. You don't forget, babe.
I don't know.
What do we think about Henry's team saying that he won? I mean, listen, I get Henry's team saying that, of course. You know, it was a close fight. It was a good fight. And I say this all the time. I said this about Justin Gagey when he said that I was a biased commentator. I said, obviously, I get that because, you know, when he's watching a fight, when he's watching his teammate, when he's watching his brother fight, his things that he did well are accentuated in his mind, and the things that Leon did were diminished in his mind. And it's the same thing with Cejudo's corner. You know, when you're watching your guy go out there and compete, the things that he does well, you're like, yeah, that's great, you got this. And the things that Aljamain's doing well, you play that down. So I've nothing against that. You know, they're just being good friends, good teammates, trying to be supportive. Nicholas says, can I dance?
Yes-ish.
That's a lie.
Well, you can like dance like in a nightclub type situation, but ballroom, no.
No.
Salsa, no.
No, I haven't danced in a long time. Paddy News. Paddy Pimblett is just recovering from surgery, isn't he? He'll be back later this year. Matt Fravola called him out. As I say, that video is on. Oh, there it is in the comment section. There's a link. Anthony Evans, he listens. Ever Hadouken your own underwear during training? Not during training, but we've all Hadoukened our underwear.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Just break it down. Take a wild guess. Shorted.
Well, I haven't.
I haven't either. I don't know what I'm talking about. David Hart says that him and the wife love the content. They watch every video. Can you shout out my wife, Sage?
Yes, we can. Shout out to Sage.
Hi.
That's a nice name.
That's Sage. It is.
Sage.
What is that? What is sage? Like a herb?
It's a herb.
Yeah. Sage and broccoli?
No.
What is sage in?
You
What's
put it in like gnocchi
Sausages?
and stuff.
Sausages?
Well, I fry some sage leaves when I cook some gnocchi and some butter and stuff.
You haven't done that for a while though, have you,
No, I
babe?
haven't,
No. Who's your favourite fighter, babe? Current.
Izzy. And Amanda Nunes. Because it winds him up. What's the problem?
There's nothing.
It's Izzy. It's my favourite fighter.
Yeah.
And Amanda Nunes. I don't know what else to say.
Just the guy that now owns the belt that I used to have. Okay, whatever. Just to, you know.
Current. Well,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were.
yeah.
You're not current.
Nate Diaz is the same size as Jake Paul. Very interesting. Nate Diaz is not the same size as Jake Paul. Nate Diaz might be the same height as Jake Paul. But this is not something that you only measure. Body mass index, okay? BMI. BMI, baby. Look at the BMI. He used to fight at 155. Paddy will sadly get knocked out by Matt Frivola. You can't say that. I mean, listen, judging by the victory at the weekend, that's obviously why you might think that. But you can't just write Paddy off because he had a tough fight against Jared Gordon. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, has she done any combat sports or martial arts?
Who?
Nevin Nemura. I presume you're talking about me. I have not.
Do you want to do some?
No. I think it's a bit late.
You're never too late to start.
I don't really want to do that, no. If you want to teach me, that's fine. I'm not going to a dojo.
What's your favourite colour, Rebecca?
Black.
Yeah, everything's
What's
black.
yours?
I like blue.
Do you?
What's the most romantic thing I've ever done? Marco's back again.
Oh. You've done quite a few romantic things.
Slyly. Subtly.
I mean, like, flowers, boring, all that crap. Yeah, you do all that. But I'm trying to think outside the box. Like, what have you done that's romantic? I don't know. I don't like romantic gestures.
No, you don't. Thank God.
But he's very thoughtful.
Noah De Leon says, is my son, and I'm assuming you're talking Lucas, but we'll talk Lucas and Callum. Are they going to be involved in mixed martial arts?
No, neither of them want to. Lucas doesn't want to be a fighter. I asked him. He said no.
Yeah, I know, but I think he will be.
Doesn't matter what you want, Lucas. You will fight.
I just think he will. I think he's got the taste. I think he's got the flavour. I think he's got the success. I think he's got the ability. And same with Callum. Callum wants to have a few fights.
Yeah, but
I don't necessarily want them to.
I don't know if he... I personally don't want them to.
I don't want them to. It's a
time?
very, very hard road. Matthew Cow says, Mike, I saw your trainers. I saw the yellow ones.
Oh, yeah.
Saw your yellow 3 stripes on your photo. Have I got a collection?
Jury is out on those trainers.
Do you not like them?
I don't know. I can't make my mind up.
Did you see my picture, everyone? Let's have a look, see if we can get it on. See if we can get it on. Get it on. Let's bring it on. Come on.
I can't read the comms. Okay, now I can. Rebecca needs her own channel. Thanks, Levin. Give Lucas The Forest. It is a great game. I think he plays that.
The Forest.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he plays that already. Izzy loves Pearl Jam. See, I knew he had good taste. That's why. That's why I like him.
Babe. Let it go. Let it go. Hold on. So there we go. What do we think on those? I put a poll up.
They are bright.
There's a bright yellow pair of shoes for you.
We just want to say that is not our car. That was just a
I know.
It's a random car.
That was the whole idea for the picture because I bought those trainers, shoes for the Americans, but I bought those trainers, sneakers a while ago. And I never wore them because, let's be honest, they are bright yellow. You know what I mean?
Oh, they are. That is no illusion. They are that bright in real life.
But I thought they were cool. I thought, you know what? Let's go out there a bit.
Express yourself.
Let's be outside the box. Yeah. But anyway, so I never wore them because I was kind of worried. Bit bright, someone says. Nice shoes. Those are too loud. Anyway, so I plucked up the courage on Sunday the first time. I plucked it up. I said, I'm doing it. I'm putting the yellow bad boys on. Try and stop me. And by the way, we went to that place, didn't we? We had a little drink.
Yeah.
And the barman goes, 6 shoes, man. Like those. Anyway, and I was just walking down the street and there was that yellow car. And I just said, all right, fine. Come on,
We need a picture.
We need a picture of this. When am I ringside next? I will be there a week on Saturday for Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill. I'll be commentating that one. What are those?
Where's that?
It's in Vegas.
Oh, that's handy.
Right here. Let's have a look at Lukey Bookie Biggity Bongy. How do I do that?
Mike, what British food dishes have you introduced Rebecca to that she loves? Boxing devotee. What British foods have you exposed me to that I've liked?
I don't know. Look at that. Look at that badass. Look at that. You're
what
talking about the yellow shoes.
Why are we looking at pictures of you?
I don't know. I was trying to bring up videos of Lucas, and then I'm an egomaniac.
I'm like, videos of Lucas.
Look at me. Look at me.
Look how handsome I look.
Let's get off.
I do want to say something though, and I was shocked and horrified when I saw that. He told me one time years ago when we first got together.
Who's he?
You.
Right.
Frey Bentos pie. He's like, they're really good, and we bought one, and I was just absolutely horrified.
Frey Bentos pies.
What is this? It's in a tin. It's in a can.
Does anyone know what a Frey Bentos pie is?
Australians and Americans won't. You don't want to know.
Is it Frey?
I think we bought one, and I don't think I even cooked it. It was hideous.
It came in a tin. No, well that's I haven't. Yeah, there it is. Frey Bentos. Look at that. That looks bloody good.
It's in a can. I mean, that looks good, but it did not look like
Yeah,
that.
but
It
that's
did
what they
not.
look like. But they,
I refuse to buy a pie that comes in a can. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So yeah, that's what else? I don't think you've really introduced me to much.
But
Food wise.
What do you mean?
Food wise, what will you tell me?
Sushi?
British foods.
Oh, right. Well, they might have got you into sushi.
Well, we used to
Oh,
go-
look, someone says Frey Bentos pie of the dog's bollocks. Thank you very much. When you were raised in a council house in England, okay, a Frey Bentos pie was a British staple. Thank you, Chris. You know what I mean? You open it with a tin, you stick it in the oven, the puff pastry rises, it's delicious. I was raised on stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, babe, get a Frey Bentos pie. They're delicious. And she looked at it. And to be fair, when you take the lid off and it isn't cooked and it's in the tin, it looks kind of gross. It's like congealed and stuff.
It's pale and like
pale,
grey.
insipid.
Grey, but we used to get fish and chips from the chippy.
Come on.
I love
Fish
this.
and chips from the
I
chippy.
just love slagging you off on here.
Well, that's all you do.
And no, and then, but I wasn't allowed to get fish because it was too expensive.
We were skint at the
I
time.
had to get the steak pie. No,
Because-
steak pudding.
Because the fish and chips from the chippy is like the most expensive premier dish. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
I was
well,
like, I just want some fish.
That's going to cost £4. Or you could get a steak and kidney pudding and that's going to cost us £2.
So yeah,
You know what I mean?
he's made up for it now.
Mike's Bright Shoes, what do we think? 56% of people said you could see him from space.
Yeah, but it doesn't give an answer whether they like it
44% say no judgment here. Yeah, save your judgment.
Praise the sun. British food is disgusting. You're actually wrong.
Now, British food is not
It's
disgusting.
not. It's
It
great.
has that worldwide reputation. But do you know what? To be honest, we saw a thing recently, didn't we? About American food. And listen, I love my American people and we choose to live here and we have a great life. But what's so good about American food?
The
Burgers?
Was it the FDA?
Fries, the Food and Drug Administration.
Oh my God, the stuff that they allow in foods that they don't allow in Europe is crazy.
Yeah, no,
It's
it
kind
is.
of worrying.
It
Do you miss
is.
chippies? Yes.
We do miss a good
do.
chippy. And I miss a good kebab as well, but we went back and we got a kebab and it was crap. And I don't know if that's because the kebabs had gone downhill or if we got a little bit snooty. You know what I mean?
Probably a bit of both.
You know what I mean? Now we've leveled up. We've got a bit of money. We're used to fine dining. We're like, what is this crap?
No. We like a good kebab.
We love a good
We're not
kebab.
food snobs.
Tea or coffee? Coffee.
Coffee.
Coffee all day. Toad in the hole. Oh,
Nothing beats our craft cheese. Oh yeah.
Toad in the hole is the pinnacle of fine cuisine. That is good. I do love a bit of toad in the hole. Remember your mum used to make it?
Yeah, she made a good toad in the hole.
Yeah.
Some mashed potatoes
do
and some
love a
peas.
bit of toad in the hole. Let's have a look at
I've
the
never
images.
made it.
You should make it. Lucas would like it. There it is.
Would.
It's basically just, what is it, like batter? No, not batter.
Like pastry
Pastry.
in a
with
sausage, like
sausages in it. It's good.
Yeah, it is good.
With some gravy and some peas.
We weren't on diets back then.
We were not
We were
on
fat
diets.
and bloated, and we didn't care.
I used to go to your mum and dad's house when we first got together. Have dinner there. They make like a nice roast dinner,
Toad in the hole.
roast chicken or
Gammon
a toad in the
and
hole or
pineapple.
gammon and eggs with pineapple and eggs and chips and all the rest of
Lasagna.
it. And then on the way home, we'd stop at the chippy.
You would.
Yeah, well, on the way home, I'd stop at the chippy and get another. Baby got a member, 11 months, Philip Anthony.
Oh, hang on a minute. It says, Mike, I just cancelled my membership this month because it's been over a year. Stream for us now that you're back.
It's because
I
it's
feel
been
guilty.
forever since you
Oh.
streamed, not over a year. So now that you're back, I feel guilty.
Oh, right.
Well, Philip Anthony.
Are you back or what? Or are you just commenting that you've
I've
cancelled?
posted multiple members-only videos
I'm going
this
to give
week.
you a woo just in case. Woo!
Don't woo him.
I did it.
Don't woo him. You're encouraging this madness.
I have to leave.
Do I think Henry or Aljo won the fourth? I thought Aljo won the fourth. I thought Henry won the fifth. And it's Happy Face, member for 8 months. Give it some.
Woo!
There we go. Mike, DJ set, when, lol.
Not happening.
What do you mean it's not happening?
You're not doing a DJ set.
Oh, I want to do a DJ
No,
set.
you don't.
I want to.
You don't.
I want to do a DJ set.
We'll do a DJ set then.
I don't want to. Don't tell me
I
what
have
to
to
do.
leave. I gotta
Mike
get
and
beef
Rebecca
first.
try Maine lobster.
I will.
Don't mind a bit of lobster. Battered beef burger from the Chippy. What a delicacy.
Oh, I've never had that.
American food has way too much sugar. Listen, we're not exactly some health gurus and all the rest of it, and we don't judge people, but you do like to put a lot of sugar on your foods. Do you know what I mean? Like even in baked beans.
Oh, it's disgusting.
What are you sticking sugar in your baked beans for?
Gross.
And then like, what else do? They stick like sweet stuff in savoury things.
Well, they pour syrup over bacon for a start.
What is that about?
That needs to stop.
Would I box Jake Paul if they offered me the fight? They did offer me a fight a couple of years ago now. Whoa. Whoa.
Anyway, I do have to leave.
Go on then, leave.
Well,
So I can
last
get back to the
question.
actual proper stuff.
Oh, shut up.
Last question, Mike. I'm an effing legend. Brother for life. Thank you.
He's all right.
Come on. Come off it. Curry sauce or gravy?
Ooh.
See, that's a big question. Put a poll up.
Can't choose.
Curry sauce or gravy? I mean, proper gravy from the Chippy. On Chippy chips. I'm starving.
Michael, you just
No, but I
had-
could just imagine chips and gravy from the Chippy.
It is good. It's good.
But curry sauce from the Chippy is also
It's
good.
also good.
We Americans make the best food. God bless you. Hey, listen, amazing food in America. Amazing. But a lot of it's not American. I mean, don't get me wrong, pizzas are incredible, which is Italian. But good old-fashioned American classics. No, they're fantastic. And the restaurants out here are incredible. The service is great. It's awesome, but you can't rip on English food, and without ripping on American. It's essentially the same stuff. We just don't have burgers. And I mean, we do have them now, but not as much. They're not like a traditional English thing. Meat, potatoes, vegetables.
Yeah, but
That's
even
like a
in
steak
England,
dinner.
people don't eat that way anymore.
No,
That
they
is
don't.
kind of like an old-fashioned kind of,
How do you become a member? I'm confused. You sign up to the membership program and put a poll up on the membership
We don't
program.
know,
For
basically.
crying out loud. How do you become a member, he says? I don't know.
I don't know.
Michael ever watched Lee Evans live in Scotland? I love Lee Evans. He is one funny guy.
We used to watch him a lot.
We
didn't
did, yeah. He's very, very funny. I want to give Mikey my money. We'll do it then. Send it to me. In a self-addressed envelope. Steak and baked potato. All right, anyway.
Okay,
Right,
there we
you
go.
got to get out of here. I'm going to talk about some fights and then we're going to wrap this one up and get out of here. But thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all. 861 of you. Bit of a low number, if I'm honest. Shame on you all. We've got bloody 600,000 subscribers and this is only the amount that can show up. Pathetic. It's embarrassing. Would I like Bilal versus Shavkat to happen? See, that's what I'm talking about. Bilal versus Shavkat, that would be an incredible fight. But that'd be a super dangerous one for Bilal. And I do believe that Shavkat Rakhmonov is the future of the division. He's undefeated, 16 or 17-0 now, I think. I think by the time he has earned a title fight, he'll probably become the champion and dominate for some time. Shavkat's amazing, he really is. I don't know if he's ready to become the champion yet. He's still 2 or 3 fights away. But he's potentially the future of the division. Bisping, what fight, regardless of weight class, based on skill, would you like to see and why? For example, Mighty Mouse versus GSP or Jones versus Silver. Or Ngannou versus CM Punk. Yeah. Has any fighter ever disrespected Rebecca? I don't think so. Looking buff. I've been lifting. I went to the gym this morning. Embarrassing is that in Europe it's late in the evening. Why is that embarrassing? It's just the way the clocks work, mate. I wouldn't say it's embarrassing. Might be a shame for you. You might be tired. Might want to go to bed, but it's not embarrassing. In my opinion, I should be fighting Jake Paul. I don't want to fight anyone. I'm retired. I'm done. I'm over the hill. I'd beat Jake Paul, though. That's a fact. I would for sure. But I can't risk my good eye. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Can't do it at all. I would like to. I would love to get back in there. I do get that competitive urge now and again. I was saying to Anthony Smith the other day, Saturday night when I was watching the fight and Bruce Buffer does the intros for the main event. Bruce is so good at that stuff and he gets the crowd hyped up and he gets me hyped up. And I'm sure you guys, when you're watching at home, he's such a great announcer. And every time when he does that, it's like, you start shadow boxing a little bit and you're like, I could get back in there, I could do it, but it's not worth it. It's not worth the risk to my good eye. Don't want to go blind. Do I watch 1FC? Generally I don't. I flew back from Spain at the weekend. I landed on Friday night. I was in the back of an Uber, and the Uber driver was weird. He would not have any music on, so we were sitting there in silence. This was so annoying. I travelled for like 24 hours. I'm driving back from LAX. The traffic's terrible. When the traffic clears up, we're the slowest car on the motorway, on the freeway. Everyone else is overtaking us. We're going so slow. I'm like, buddy, you're going 50 miles an hour. Can you speed up a little bit? In America, they have the carpool lane, so 2 or more people, and that's always dead, so you get past the traffic. He wouldn't go in the carpool lane, so I was getting kind of worked up in the back, shall we say. I was getting a little annoyed, but fortunately 1FC was on, so I watched that, and that was one of the first times I've watched it, to be fair. Good production, good show. Mighty Mouse did well. Mighty Mouse came on my podcast last week. Again, we have that interview on the channel, so check that out as well. But yeah, Michael, what opponent do I think would be good for Arnold Allen next? I think it was Arnold Allen himself. Chips or gravy, curry or gravy, 54% with the gravy. It's all gravy, baby. I think Arnold Allen himself said that, I think he called out Brian Ortega, which I think is a phenomenal call out. And I just think it shows, number one, the kind of fighting spirit that Arnold Allen has. He was on a good win streak, 9 or 10. Fights Max Holloway, loses the fight, gives a good account of himself, but he lost the fight. He knows that as well. But then to be called for one of the next best guys in Brian Ortega, that shows the measure of the man. So fair play to Arnold Allen for that. And I think that would be a great fight. And if he was to beat Brian Ortega, that keeps him right there. But I don't think it gives him a title fight. So that's why I respect it that much, because that's a dangerous fight for him. It really is a dangerous fight for both men. Would I have boxed bare knuckle in my prime? I mean, the mean streets of Clitheroe. I might have bare knuckle boxed a few times, but not now. Not now. I'm very happy to have fought in the UFC and retired in the UFC. Never been to Suffolk, never been to Ipswich. Question to run by you. Do I think fighters were in the peak in the early 2000s? Meaning every build fight was amazing in 2002 to 2009. Yeah, but what you got to remember is in those early days, there was way less fight events on. No disrespect to the fighters of today. But what I'm saying is that every event, there used to be one numbered event a month. Sometimes it was every 3 months, So obviously the fight cards were incredible because they didn't have many events. And there would always be champions on those events. Now we're very lucky as a mixed martial arts fan. Granted, if we only had an event every 3 months, the fight cards would be phenomenal. But as a fan, we want to see more fight cards. So we're very lucky. There's a fight card almost every week. It's rare on the weeks that there's not a fight, So, we're lucky. But of course, if there's only a fight every 3 months, those fight cards will be better. All right, so Armenian Queen Daenerys Kardashian. Sounds like quite the woman you are there. The Armenian Queen Daenerys Kardashian. Rebecca used to get called Khaleesi a lot. Doesn't happen anymore. She's got a bit older. She's not here now, so I can say that. I'm joking. But says, if the Mountie from Game of Thrones was an MMA fighter, who could defeat him? Many people. No offence to him. Thorn Bjornsson, I think it is. He's a big bastard, isn't he? I mean, he's a big son of a bitch. Let's be honest. Let's have a look. The Mountain. Thor. Just put that. Thor. There he is. 6'9". Jesus Christ. 6'9". Big fella. But that's a bad picture. Listen, there's no doubt about it. He'd be capable of some extreme violence, let's be honest. But I think in mixed martial arts, we have seen time and time again, it's not just about size. That's not the only thing. It's technique, it's martial arts prowess. Whilst he could definitely, be a problem for a lot of people, let's be honest. 6'9" and built like that, and one of the strongest men in the world, against good wrestlers like a Stipe, like a John Jones, like a Daniel Cormier. Obviously, it's going to be heavyweight fighters. You know, there would be an issue for him. I think we saw recently, who was it? Was it Dustin Poirier? Was it Dustin Poirier rolled with him? Dustin Poirier rolled with someone. Dustin Poirier rolls with strong man. I just typed badly there. Yeah, UFC fighter chokes out the world's strongest man. Yeah, here it is. Here it is here. Is that him? I think that's Bjorn Thor. Okay. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. We'll wrap this one up soon. We've been going for an hour and 17 minutes. In fact, I'll give you another half hour or so. Dustin doing good? He is doing good. Let's go back to show, doesn't it? Just goes to show the you know, that it's not all about size. You know, technique. If you saw him boxing, then you would realise that Thug Rose could take him out. Yeah. Dustin's lost his manhood. Has he? No, not born. Fuck, marry, kill. Susan Boyle. Suzanne Boyle. My God. Sam Smith. Oh, God. Rousey. Talking to a pro. No, not boring ever. Well, thank you, Frank Castle. I appreciate that, buddy. Mike, did you watch King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead? I didn't know. Obviously, I know about Beavis and Butthead, and I know about King of the Hill, but I wasn't a regular watcher. You know, I wasn't a regular viewer, should I say. How shredded does Tom Aspinall look? I tell you what, he's looking phenomenal. He's looking in ridiculous shape. Absolutely phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to his comeback. Looking forward to his comeback. I know he was calling out Marcin Tybura. I'm not sure if that's been announced or anything, but he said that in London on stage. Be a good fight. I know he wants to fight against John Jones one day. The problem is whether or not John Jones sticks around long enough. Ant, put a poll up. Would Tom Aspinall be the man to beat John Jones? I don't know if he would, but he's certainly got as good a chance as anyone. Hopefully we get to see John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, not Miocic, Miocic in Madison Square Garden, New York. And John Jones said, listen, I might just beat Stipe and call it a day and retire. And I wouldn't blame him, to be honest, because he's been there, done it, got it all. He's made money. And he wants to retire while he's still got his faculties, while he hasn't lost an eye, where he hasn't got lifelong injuries, which, of course. Would I rather fight John Jones or Rampage Jackson in a street fight? Well, neither would be very good. They'd be very, very tough. Might watch it from Coventry. What are the things that I miss from England? I get asked this a lot. Main thing is the personality, the sense of humour, things like that. Small things, you know, not the weather. Let me know in the chat where you're all from. I love doing this. I like to see. Still no one chip challenge. We're doing it next week. For those that don't know, Anthony Smith, myself, Harrington and Brian from the podcast, we've got these one chips. They're like, I don't know, the hottest things on planet Earth. And we keep talking about doing a one chip challenge. It's just the four of us eat it. But we haven't got round to doing it yet. But Anthony's fighting this weekend, so we don't want to jinx him by making him do that. So, yeah. Xiaonan looked insane. Yan Xiaonan looked incredible at the weekend. She really did. Bisping, it's not whatever, who cares, sir. Details matter when you're talking about someone getting knocked down. Who did I say that about? Anyway, South Wales, Ohio, Switzerland. Shout out Switzerland. Germany, Maine, Wisconsin, Montreal, San Fran. We've got it all together. Well, OG Bean. Yeah, I wouldn't say old. Yeah, I'm definitely mature these days. I feel better about myself, though. I do. I mean, I wish I was younger. I wish I still had the body that I had. You know, the lack of injuries, I mean. But I still feel like a young man inside. I do. I still feel like I'm 21, which is a shame. Although I have matured a lot and calmed down big time. Netherlands, New England, Coventry, Oregon, Texas, Barnsley. Yes, shout out Barnsley. Indiana. All right, so you're all over. Bulgaria. Hello, my brothers in Bulgaria. Tom Aspinall versus Prime Daniel Cormier. Oof, that's a tough one, David. That is a tough one. I mean, it's DC, isn't it? You know, I'm not going to disrespect Tom and say that he'd lose, but they're both incredible fighters. That would have been a tremendous fight. Obviously, DC would have the wrestling advantage. Tom Aspinall's taller, he's longer, probably faster on the feet, probably got better jiu-jitsu, but DC's ridiculous as well. What a career DC had. Scotland. Shout out Scotland. All right, mate. Philadelphia, Vermont. Magna. Serbia. Edinburgh. Indiana. All right. Okay. Just lost a fan. Wasted 10 quid that was. What's your problem, Jim Newman? What did I do? What did I do? Did I offend you? Or just don't watch? Did you used to watch Men Behaving Badly? I did. British sitcoms. They were British sitcoms as well. Yeah, no, Men Behaving Badly, Bottom, Only Fools and Horses. I miss the British TV. Yeah, British TV, that is definitely one that I do miss when talking about things that I miss in England. Yeah, the British TV. The sense of humour, it goes back to that, I guess. Would you ever have Louis J. Gomez on as a guest on BYM? Do you know what? Funnily enough, I texted Louis recently, and we did mention it. So yeah, I'm not against it. Not against it at all. Azale the cat. Hope you well, buddy. What are my thoughts on KSI? He's doing his thing. KSI is doing his thing. He's making money. You know, when it comes to the fight stuff, I couldn't care less. I'm not interested. But you can't hate on a man. Same with Jake Paul. We're all just trying to get ahead in life. You know, and life is tough. And if you find a way to crack the code and make a ton of money, 2 super chats ignored. Well, sorry, Jim Newman. I apologise, buddy. It didn't pop up on here. Let me see if I can find it. My bad. I'm sorry, mate. I would never purposely not answer a super chat. Let me just scroll back up, see if I can find it. No, it's as far as it lets me go on the thingy bob. I apologise, mate. Sorry about that. What was I saying? What was I talking about? No. Oh, KSI. Yeah, listen, can't hate on that. You know, he's got rap records out. He's a massive YouTuber. He's boxing people now. You know, he's making money. He's making millions and millions of dollars. For that, you can't hate on it. What do I think of him as a fighter? I don't think he's very good. I don't think he's credible. But I think he's been uber successful in life. And for that, you got to commend him. You know what I mean? Same with Jake Paul. You know, it's not nothing personal as a man or as a person. It's just when you talk about being in the Boxing Hall of Fame and beating people like Canelo Alvarez and you're picking easy fights against MMA fighters while saying that at the same time, that's the only issue that I have. It's not that I'm hating on the person. I'm sure Jake's a very nice guy. I'm sure KSI is an awesome guy. I've met him. I did a little training session with him twice, actually, with KSI. He was great. Good energy, good sense of humour, hell of a laugh. Yeah, nothing bad to say about him. Now, if you ask me to critique him as a fighter, that's a very different thing. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean he's a bad guy. Far from it. All right, Jim Newman. Can you tell Dylan Haddock Jim Newman would pummel his chin, please? Dylan Haddock. Dylan Haddock. Jim Newman will pummel your chin easily. Do not mess with Ben Newman, okay? I didn't read out his super chat, and I lost him as a fan. I'm hoping I've got your back, Jimmy boy. I'm hoping I've got your back. Do it like Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais is a goddamn legend of the highest order. He's awesome. He's funny. He's hilarious. I agree with a lot he says. I think he's awesome. He's great. He's a very smart man. Sean O'Connor hates Ricky Gervais. Why would you hate Ricky Gervais? Great to see Lucas hitting the pads and enjoying it. Yeah, no, it fills my heart, or warms my heart, should I say. Could possibly another Bisping in the UFC for years to come. Who knows? Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. It's a tough life. It's a tough life. I don't really wish that on my children. Did I wear feeler back in the day? I still wear feeler now and again, to be fair. Yeah, I did like feeler, though, back in the day. It was a very good brand. Do I play chess? I do. Not very well. I like chess. I like to play it. I've never studied it, though. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just have a basic grasp of the game. I would like to read some books on it, I guess. Only problem with that is it would involve reading some books. I have been reading lately though, but just not books on chess. I mean, reading, I try and read more, as much as possible. And I'm going to go read a bit today. But reading books on chess, that's a bit much, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? If my wife said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm reading a book." "Oh, great. What's it about?" "Chess. Strategies." I'm not sure things would work out. What's my favourite book? I don't know. I don't have one right now. I'm reading. This might be controversial for some reason. Yeah, I did like Catchphrase, Blockbusters, Bullseye. Loved all them. What is it? 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. It's bloody good. It's bloody interesting. There's a lot of very, very smart things in that book. It's just basically a guide on how to live your life, what to do and how to try and become a better person or a better man. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, yeah, I recommend it thoroughly. What's the rules on picking up your walkout songs or picking my walkout songs? There is no rules. There's no rules. Whatever song you want, I guess as long as it's not offensive or whatever, you're good to go. From Charlotte, bless Anthony Smith for his fight against the Walker Brazilian Ranger. Yeah, tough fight for Anthony this weekend, but I think he gets the job done. I do think he gets the job done. All right, guys, 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes and I'm out of here. Do I think my older son will get into MMA as he's already wrestled? I don't know. Maybe. I get asked this question a lot. Gladiator from the 90s, one of my favourite films. Yeah, I get asked that a lot. Maybe. I think he wants to at least dip his toes in it. I think he wants to at least just, say that he did it. It's hard to get really good at chess if you don't learn it in your youth. I did learn it in my youth. I could play chess. I played chess against Lucas. Lucas has known how to play chess for years. I taught him, obviously. But I'm far from a chess expert. I can't even sit here and say I'm good at chess. I enjoy chess. I know how to play it. But I just haven't studied it. You can't just become good at chess. You've got to play it a lot. And you've got to read books on strategy and things like that. What's the hardest habit you've ever had to break? Where do I start? Where do I start, mate? I've got a lot of habits I'm trying to break to this day. I think you missed my super chat. Oh, about the boogie choke. Do I think a boogie choke is coming to the UFC? Well, there was an attempt at a boogie choke recently, I believe. And I'll be honest, I hadn't seen it. So I said, "What is that?" And then Laura Sanko said something. And so I made a joking comment and everyone was hating on me. "Oh, I'm all so insecure." I said, "No, I'm not insecure. I'm having a laugh. I'm actually being self-deprecating." Believe it or not, even though, and I am, an expert on mixed martial arts, the world of jiu-jitsu is constantly evolving, and I'm not on the mats as much as I used to be. I still watch the sport. I'm still study the sport. I still admire the sport, but I'm not on the mats like I used to be. And the sport of jiu-jitsu or the world of jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts for that matter is evolving still all the time. That's what's so great about it. And new techniques develop. And I hadn't seen a boogie choke, So maybe we'll see it more. What's my favourite beer? From Connor Cartwright. Your biggest special fan. What's up, Connor Cartwright? Hope you're well, mate. Sapporo. I do like Sapporo. Here's my 3. Sapporo, Stella, Peroni. Call me a chav. Call me whatever you want. Cut Cron from the roster. It wasn't good, was it? It was not good. Mike, can I do a meet and greet next time I'm in England? I should be doing some shows on the 16th and the 17th of December. Not to be announced. Shouldn't be saying this yet. Haven't finalised things. Dates are locked in, but the show's not locked in. But I will be returning to them, my one-man show type thing, but I'm going to have guests. So it's going to be a one-man show, but maybe 3 or 4 men involved. Maybe a woman. Let's go mental. So yeah, have I ever got ringworm? Many, many times. Used to get ringworm all the time when I was training. Certainly out here in the States, in California at least, because it's a warmer climate, so the bacteria can really, multiply and grow and thrive. Colder places, it's a little harder for it. Verico says, saw a story of you with the co-owner of my gym, Sam Stout. Small world. Shout out Sam Stout. Sam's amazing. Good friend of mine. I've known Sam for a long time. Tremendous fighter. Solid dude. Shout out Sam. Let him know I say hello, please. Very cool. I will not be going to the fights this weekend, sadly. What kind of show? Like a live podcast? Yeah, kind of like that. It'll be me. I'll walk out and I'll tell a few jokes. And I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I'll tell some anecdotes, some stories. I'll have a laugh and basically take the piss out of myself. And then we'll have a few people, a few guests on. We'll sit down, we'll have some fun and things like that. Michael Bisping and Friends. You heard it here first. Michael Bisping and Friends coming to Manchester and London in December. So, yeah. All right. Hebden Bridge. Hebden Bridge. I was talking about Hebden Bridge the other day. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, on that note, it's been 1 hour and 32 minutes. I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done so. Do me a favour. Subscribe and ring the bloody bell. What was I going to say? No, there's a video. There's a link there for the Matt Frivola that went up this morning. If you're interested, he had a big win at the weekend. Content dropping daily. For the members, we have exclusive videos going up for the members. Bisping Q&A at gmail.com. That is the email address. If you remember, and you send in a video question to bispingqa at gmail.com. I'm doing video questions, responses for the members only. So bispingqa at gmail.com. If you're a member, send the question in and I will put it on the members only section. Other people can view it as well, of course. So yeah, there it is. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Always have a good laugh. Always like answering your questions, having a bit of banter and things like that. And yeah, that's about it. Guys, until next time, you guys